Dear classmates, I will be presenting my final project on the Nike cognitive strategies I have excelled in throughout this whole school year. First off, we'll be starting off with precision and accuracy. Ms. Moharo gives us every day, an assignment to work on in class and for homework. And in this specific assignment, I was able to be accurately correct in every single question because I used precision and accuracy. The way I used this was using my notes that I have taken in class and applying those steps onto my assignments. So let's go to scripting. Here's my work on Scribd, and as you can see, I marked no question wrong, and I have a check plus on my homework. Next up is the interview for Ms. Lipton. The reason I put this on precision and accuracy was because I feel that the reason I got a perfect score on my interview was because I followed precisely all the steps that Ms. Lipton gave us to be able to succeed in these interviews. So let's go to Scribd. As you can see, for example, it says eyes almost always making contact. I got a perfect score. Smiling and connected at all times, perfect score. So I feel that I was accurate and precise throughout the whole interview. So next up is writing, and for Mr. Larkin, we had to write a lab report on ionic and covalent bonding. For this assignment, I mostly did expository writing because I just had to explain how my hypothesis was a little wrong from the actual data that we got. And let me show you on Scribd. Like, for example, here's my hypothesis, and especially for water, that's the only one I got wrong. I put that right here you can see I put ionic, low melting, and it conducts electricity, no. But in reality, this was for distilled water, this was the correct information. So and then also for the Gothic story for AP Literature, I used writing, but I used descriptive writing because we were assigned to write a short story that sort of used the same Gothic steps, but with our own story, and I just used descriptive writing to describe the character and the situation and the scene and make it, dismal and such. So on Scribd, you can see that here it is, first of all, and here's just a story, and I guess right here there's actually a sentence. As he was walking in the foggy, windy night, he heard a whisper calling him. So, it's pretty cool. And yeah. Next up is my analysis. I used analysis on the test corrections for Michaud because we have to choose the certain quote to prove that the answer to the question is correct. And so I need to analyze this quote and make sure that it proves that quote, how do I say it, it proves that the answer is correct. See, right here, when the first question is, I use the quote, it says, when men shall find thy flower, thy glory past, and then I go on explain analyze the quote, and yeah. The next assignment is the globalization essay / presentation for Mr. Otto. I did the written report because I thought it was easier, but I use analysis because I would use the information that I did the research on, and I made sure that it was credible enough to teach my class about it. And I would analyze information, and that's how I was able to write a written report. I did mine on Germany, and here's just some of the information that I found out about Germany, culturally, to be exact. Next is reasoning, proof, and argumentation. I used this when we had the Socratic seminar based on the movie Bully. The reason is because I was able to take a stand in what I thought it was, what I thought was, blah, what I thought was right, and what I believed in. And I used the information from the movie and the article that we learned, and I used evidence from outside resources, and I proved to people that my argument was correct, or to me why it was correct. And here on Scribd, I'm just showing the Q&Q. I have some quotes for the evidence, some questions that I came up with, and yeah. Next is the Spanish articles for Menospreciado in the final. I feel that I used reasoning, proof, and argumentation when we were presenting our the stuff that we wrote down, and because I had to use the evidence from the article and reasoning from stuff that we've learned from the class, and all together had to make an argument valid enough to get a high score. And here on Scribd, I'm just gonna show the first article, the Ruben Salazar one, and how I annotated and did marginality on it to better understand it, and in case I got that one, to be able to have an argument. Next is problem solving, and I use problem solving for, again, Ms. Maharo's assignment, because especially for this one, this assignment was pretty hard for me because I didn't understand it, because the equations seemed complicated. But I use problem solving because I saw the problem and I saw other strategies that I've used for other similar problems like these, and I was able to solve it. And again, on Scribd, I'm just going to show that, like, my work on each problem, and the check plus. I got a check plus for this assignment, and this is just my work. The next is my personal statement. I use problem solving in this one because the first personal statement, it wasn't really good. So then I had to see what the problem was, and then from there write another personal statement in which was actually personal and it meant a lot to me. And although I got rejected every single time, I feel that now my personal statement is way more powerful compared to the first one that I wrote. And here's just, I just put this picture because teachers wrote on it and like they marked it up, and I took these advice to solve the problem that I was facing. Next up is interpretation. Again, for my personal statement, I really had to interpret my life and the events that I've gone through, and made sure that the reader was getting the point of my personal statement, and to make sure that my event was very personal. And well, I already showed you guys on Scribd, so I'll just go to the next assignment. The Spanish articles, I use interpretation because I had to read the article first and understand what it was really trying to tell me. And then after, that's when I did connections and I connected it to other stuff we learned in the class. And I think my interpretation was good, well, because I passed this final. But yeah, and I already showed you guys this too on Scribd, so let's just move on. Next up is intellectual openness. I use this on my resume because I really want to apply to a job this summer, and I feel that I couldn't have succeeded in applying to a job if it wasn't for my resume. And Miss Lipton really taught us how to write it, and if I had a question, I would ask the question, and that question would probably help me and many other students that had that same question. And in the end, I wrote a pretty good resume. And this is just like my first draft. As you can see, it's like not even good. Like, it doesn't even catch the attention of your eye, I guess. But the last one I wrote, like, it was really good. So, and shout out to Marco for helping me out. Next up is the interview. And the reason I put it on intellectual openness was because I'm really shy when I talk to people, or when I'm being questioned. So I feel that this really opened me as a person, but also like I was able to like kind of kill my curiosity of how an interview is, but in a good way, because now I feel that I'm highly prepared for an actual interview, and I feel that I can get a job. And let's open it up. And right here, you're just gonna see that I already showed you guys, so oops. Just gonna show you this again, and yeah. next up is inquisitiveness, and I use inquisitiveness in Mr. Otto's globalization research project because I had to like really focus on the websites and their credibility. Also because I did a lot of research, and if I didn't feel that the research was correct, I would ask Mr. Otto and seek for help, because in sixth period I will be teaching this to my peers and I want the information to be correct and not just like wrong. And well, I already showed you guys this on Scripty, so let's move on to the next one. The energy power research for Mr. Larkin. This one also, like, I feel that was really, I put in inquisitiveness because I feel that I was able to do the research and not only seek for help but like help other students that didn't really know about this type of energy power. And I feel that now when it's time, like he said, in 10 or 15 years when we have to vote and decide what energy power to use, I am highly educated in it, and I feel that I will be able to choose the correct one. And here's just on Scripty the handout me and my group made for my peers, and we have raw materials, energy generation, economics, environmental packs, and yeah. Lastly, I have research. Well, the research packet for Mr. Otto. Um, wow, research is spelled wrong, but okay. Anyway, um, the reason I chose research for this, well, I put it right here is because I did research obviously, but I learned how to differ from credible websites to websites that might be super biased. Like I use CIA World Factbook instead of Wikipedia because obviously Wikipedia is just based on opinions of people and like what they think is right, and maybe what they think is right is not right or whatever. And so here on Scribd, I just have the work I researched, and this is just the first page, so it's like culture stuff, and yeah. Next assignment is the condiciones for El Salvador, and I did research on this because I really wanted to see, and well, I wanted to apply what Ms. Preciado told us in class, and I wanted to see what other stuff we didn't cover for this specific region. And during my research, during doing my research, I found out that El Salvador, the little kids from El Salvador would be drafted into the military, but for the U.S. So it's like they would put their own people against them, their own country, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And on Scripty, I just have like the outline that we did and the information that I found out, and this helped me on my final. Uh, oh. So that's my final project. Thanks.